Hello, and welcome back to Belmont Bunch. This is going to be a surprisingly quick one. It's not going to be a rant. I don't have the energy anymore. This team has exhausted me, has taken everything out of me. They're just not good enough. And I don't think the effort is there enough on defense. And it's funny because you could easily point to, but statistically, they give up way fewer goals than a lot of teams. The goaltending is just amazing, and even when we were getting on Sorokin for occasional softies, within those games he would usually rebound mid-game from those. So the goaltending's been excellent. And today, another example of I just don't think they're committed to the defense enough. Obviously, Chara playing top 4 minutes just means that the personnel is not good enough. But on top of that, and of course the forwards are involved in this. The last couple of goals, Colton and Sergachev, just embarrassing. Really embarrassing efforts. Not getting back, not even giving their goalie any help, right in front of their own net. Embarrassing. They should all be embarrassed. Standing around, puck watching. It's awful. And obviously it's annoying because I'm very much tired of losing to Tampa Bay in particular. But this team is exhausting. And if watching the last two games against two playoff level teams, that's the type of team that the Islanders aspired to be coming into this year. A team on that level that should be skating with these teams. And they do it for one period at a time, and then they shut off for the rest of the game. Consistently against good teams. This team needs a retool in the offseason. They're too deep. They're in too deep based on all the contracts they've signed. They need guys that bounce back. Pajot. Pajot's the big one. The fourth line is just cooked. I don't think that's repairable. You can't keep all of those guys and expect it to get better down there. I really think that's true. Maybe Cizikas could have a bounce back, but I think Clutter is what he is at this point, and I think Martin's done. So, obviously Brock, it's been one of the lone bright spots. Dobson as well. Dobson needs to get a little bit better in his own zone, but, the development we've seen this year, I think, is exciting. They needed someone to step up in that Nick Leddy style, and I think he's been better than what Nick Leddy would have given us this year. I think if this team has Nick Leddy, it's not that much better. It's definitely not a playoff team. That's not the difference. The Islanders desperately need this offseason to come as soon as possible. Even if they don't get better on paper. And if they don't get better on paper, Lou should be on firing watch. Or just retire. But they need the players need to recommit to the system. But also the personnel needs to be better to allow for a little bit of leeway. Because as it stands, the Islanders rely so much on great goaltending, and that's basically it. And one good defensive pairing. I like Scott Mayfield. I think it'll be a failure as a team if he's paired with Andy Green as a starting pair next year. I think Robin Salo needs to come up at some point before the end of the year. It depends on where Bridgeport is in terms of playoffs. Which, as I understand, is getting closer. They have a shot. And Robin Salo had a great game today, so that's good. Hutton today, it looked all right in the first period, and kind of like the rest of the Islanders, everyone faded after at a certain point in the second period. Sorokin, upper body, didn't show up for the third. Varley handed a rough hand by his teammates, just not assisting him in any way. And, it's been throughout the year, we were looking for what the issue was, and I think finally it's fair to say, it's been fair to say the whole time, but we got on our goalies a little bit for a couple of softies here and there, but no, the defense is not good enough. The goaltending's been covering for them big time, and they can't survive like this. And they've been on a knife's edge for a couple years. They snuck into the playoffs both of the last 2 years, and they're built to win a 7-game series, but they're not built to make the playoffs, which is interesting. At the 82 games, I think Trotz's system demands a lot, and the Isles' talent doesn't. It's just not there. Remember, Trotz in Washington had a mixture of talent and his system, and that's what got them there. And the Islanders have the system in place. I don't think they have the talent to put themselves in a position to win. And there's not enough of a commitment right now on defense to not, to help the goaltending out a little bit. Make them make fewer high danger saves. Anyway, this game and the Boston game yesterday go to show this team's nowhere right now. They're in a very weird spot, and they need bounce backs, and they need an infusion of talent and scoring and defense. They need a little bit of everything except for goaltending. So I'm pissed. Desperately need the U.S. national team to qualify for the World Cup tonight, because I'm very, very tired of the teams that I root for. That's it.